Welcome back, everybody. Today is Watercolor Tuesday. So just thought I would check things out here first. If you weren't here on Thursday, this is what we did on Thursday. It was mixed media backgrounds for future projects, drawings, whatever you want to do. And we put this on. This was one of my digital drawings and kind of matches. I like it, but we'll see what else we can do with that later. So I thought I'd show you that. If you were here last Tuesday, let's see, we did the coleus last Tuesday, and watercolor with a bit of ink done to it. Very simple, kind of loose. Hey, Zandra. And at this particular stream, I told you about some books that my son got. And I have them here if you want to see them. So these were being thrown out. So he picked them up for me. Character sketches. And there's volume 1, 2, and 3. And they haven't been used. But I like them because of the drawings in them. They were from 1988. The Institute of Basic Youth Conflicts in the United States. But the drawings are really cool. It's all nature, and it's kind of nice. It's like they have loyalty, is adjusting my schedule to meet the needs of those I am serving. It's kind of neat to look at these old books. Well, these are all loyalty here. What else is there? Determination, courage, is following difficult instructions in the face of danger. Is applying the resources I have in creative ways when faced with overwhelming odds. That's courage. I thought that was kind of cool. And they're all in fantastic shape. And it's good paper. So there's nice drawings in all of them. So they would be great reference material. These have a lot of birds in it. And then the third one. You never know what people are going to throw out. So I thought that was kind of cool. Yeah, aren't they cool? I'm glad he keeps an eye out for those things. And also, there's another thing they were throwing out. Canvases. They haven't even been opened. And stick little things. Canvas with an easel. They haven't been opened. They were throwing them out. Yeah, isn't that crazy? But I guess, maybe it was from a parent's house that passed away. You never know what the circumstances are, but I'm glad I can, instead of letting them go to the landfill, I can use them. So today we're going to do these. These are Clematis, and this one's called Henry Eye. And this one's a little bit newer open. And then as they age, the center gets a little bit darker and more puffier. And when the petals drop, the center stays like a real ball. It almost looks like a little fuzz ball on the vine. They're kind of cool. And this is one of the earlier blooming ones. So I thought we could draw some. Now we don't have to do them in white because there's many colors. And being that it's, I'm using a cream colored book, I thought we could probably do something with a little bit more color to it. And you can get purple ones and pink ones, and they come in all sorts of color combinations. So let me get a piece of paper so you can something dark so you can see. And I thought, well, maybe, let's see, I'm going to move some of this stuff over. Maybe I want a 2-page spread. Maybe. So I'm just going to put it right on here for now. I will do a separate drawing of these and have it up on the members page on Patreon or on the join membership in YouTube. Hey, Joan. How's everybody doing today? Beautiful day here. We're getting a little bit of smoke from Quebec this time. It's on fire now. It's crazy. First Alberta, now it's Quebec. So I'm going to do these maybe one or two. I'm not sure. But let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They have 8 petals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And the leaves are in sets of 3 usually. 2 together and actually 3 together, but they're a little bit, some are curled. They do wrap around things to climb. That's how they climb, is by wrapping their, this part of their leaf will catch. I don't know how they do it, but they sense something and then they wrap around. See how this one's kind of wonky looking? That's because it was wrapped around something. So, and they're parallel as far as the leaf brackets. So there's another one there. So there's a fair amount of space between each set of leaves. So let's just, maybe I'll do it like this. Yeah. So I'll kind of have it like this, and then I'm going to have a damsel fly over here sitting on one of these leaves. I'm just going to hold this one up as I draw it. It'll be a little different from what you're seeing, from what I'm seeing. So if I want it like that, let's draw the flower first. Oh no, you guys are going through a spell. Oh, hopefully everything improves quickly for you. I know what it's like. I'm going through one too. It's my knees. I can't get out in the garden as much as I'd like, but it's just the way it is. So these are fairly pointed, kind of like spoons, actually. You see the shape of the petal? It's almost like a spoon. It dips down in the front here a little bit, but you just do what you have to do, right, Joan? Yeah, that would be horrible in your elbows. Before you have it too, you really don't understand what it's like until you go through it yourself. So 8 petals, so I'm going to they're fairly cross from each other. So let's do go through the center like that. There I know how the petals are going to be. So they have a little bit of a skinny start and then they come up, dip down a little bit, and kind of go down. And they're overlapping each other. So it looks like, well, that one it overlaps. But this one, there's some of them overlap each other, some of them are on top of each other. So I don't think it really matters too much. Let's see what this one does, just for the heck of it. So it looks like 2 are under, 2 are on top, and the rest are, that's interesting. So there's one across from each other, they're on top, and then right parallel is those ones, and they're bottoms, and the other's kind of, well, that's interesting. Okay, so this one can be on top, like the other one, and then skip one. Well, I guess you don't really have to skip it because we're going to put this one as the underneath one, but it'll show up as on top right now till we put the other ones in. Like that. And then they start, this one overlaps. Let's see. See, this one's a little different. So then this one will overlap. So it'll go like this. And then it comes across that one. So I'm going to get my eraser out. Oh yeah, well, hopefully everything comes, oh gosh, out okay for you, Sandra. It's scary when it involves your liver like that. Sucks getting old. Big time. And then this one is over top, so it goes like this. And then that goes underneath that one. And this one is underneath. And then over top of that one. And then this one is over top. And then like that. So there's our 8 petals. This one's a little long, so I'm going to make it shorter. So they're kind of the same distance from each other. And you can use whatever pencil you feel comfortable with. I have a mechanical, or I think this is a 2B. No, it's a 4. Oh, actually, it's an HB. So, would like a regular eraser though. I'll just try using, I don't know. Well, let's try using this one, but I forgot to bring my erasers down. That one. So I'm just erasing the lines I don't need. So don't need all those lines now. So you can erase them. And let's see, over like that. This one is over, I think. This is just practice. Like that. This one is covering the other one. Let's make this one a little bigger. So that one, like that. This one's kind of big. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller, I think. Down like this. There. Still too big there. I know I'm getting fussy. All right, so there's that part. And then we have all the stamens around here. So there's actually, they go about like that, I would say. So I can erase all that center out because you don't really see it once the stamens are all in there. Okay, and I'll leave that circle just to give me an idea of how far to put them, because they are in a circle. See? They kind of flare out. As they get older, they kind of flare out on the ends. They kind of get fluffy on the ends. And then the leaves. So let's say this was, I think I had this one. So we can just take the, if you want, you could just trace it. There's the leaf area. Give you an idea. So it goes up. And they're kind of almond shaped, the leaves. So this is the tallest one. And actually there's, from what I'm seeing, it overlaps the stem a little bit. So right about there comes up. And then the almond shape. that. And then this one here, this one's a little bit bigger. And then remember, they come off of each other, so they're parallel to each other. That. They have very strong stems, which they have to have if they're going to be grabbing onto stuff. Kind of woody, actually. Okay, that one. And then we had these little guys here. And they came up like this. Kind of went under the stem a little. Narrow. And then from here, they all meet at the same, the three of them meet at the same point. And the other one's kind of underneath. So this is what I'm seeing. You probably aren't seeing this in your perspective, but this is what I'm seeing. Just remove that. Yeah, aren't they beautiful? Hi, Dot. Good to see you. They're one of my favorite flowers. I do love them. All right, so then we want this guy. I'm going to make this the main stem a little bit thicker. And then this joins up at the same intersection. I'm just going to change this a little bit. And kind of curls up here. And then this one goes up. And then I just see this one here. Kind of, I'm seeing different, so you're not seeing what I'm seeing. So actually, that goes up like that. It's kind of curved. And then this one kind of comes back down. It's curling. Again, probably because it was attached to something while it was climbing. So I just picked these off of my vine. And this one, I'm just going to tuck it under here, I think. Like that. Looks a little odd, but this one, I'm going to change this one a little bit. It isn't quite what I want. Comes down, and then down, and then I'm seeing the top part of it and the underneath at the same time. So this goes like that. And then the stem is like that. And then this kind of goes like that. So I'm just seeing a little bit of that top part. All right. You can do yours how you're seeing it, or you can just make it up. Nobody's going to come and say that's not the way it was. All right. And then the center, you get all these stamens. So it's kind of spiky in the center, and then you see the much longer ones out here. It's because it's dimensional. See? All right. Now, the damselfly that I saw in my garden, I haven't seen one of these before. Thought it was kind of cool. I don't know if you can see that. He had black wings and his body was aqua and green. It was really pretty. They weren't very big, maybe 4 inches, something like that. Let's see if I can brighten that. Contrast brightness. There, that's a little better. See? You pretty? Saturation. Yeah. All right, well, I guess I better leave that. So I thought we could put him on here, on the leaf. So they have a really, really long tail. I don't know. They kind of have, let's put him here. See, it's kind of a or triangled head, but with more or less round edges. And then his body comes like it's thinner on the top or near the neck, if they have a neck. And then probably twice the size of his head. So it goes like, and it's rounded, bigger, like that. And then the back of them is on a real slant. And it's quite a few. Well, it's sectioned too, but very straight. And thin. Looks like a pencil. I like them. They're cool. Oh my gosh, I get notifications. Enough. Good Lord. Is that a damsel? Yes, it's a damselfly. I haven't seen one with black wings before. That was kind of cool. And he has his legs come from where the head and the body part meet. So looks like he has 1, 2, 3. And then I'm just seeing the other one like that. And it's hard to see how these legs are going. I think they are, comes down like this. They're a little bit thicker, his back legs. And then I'm only seeing part of that other one. It looks like they have 6, so, but I'm only seeing bits of the other one. So there's like that. That'll be good enough. Okay. And then his wings are kind of on the back here. And they have a little bit of a bump, and then they bump out again, and let's see, they're not as big as his body, so let's try that again. So that's what you do also when you're drawing. You're comparing size from something in the same area. So his body is this long, because this is where it starts. See, it starts there, but it's not as long as his body. It goes to about here. And it's on an angle. So let's see. I'm going to put it, scoop it down. Like that, I guess. That looks pretty good. It's a bit of a bump into it, but I'm going to make it a little thicker there. I think this needs to be more rounded. There. Okay, there's the damselfly, and he does have sections in his body. So let's see. 1, 2. It's kind of hard to see them all. Some of them are a little longer. Now let's just do that. That's good enough. And his eye is actually right here. And can't really see how his mouth is, but I think that's good enough. All right. So there it is. So I'll take you guys in a little bit so you can see my painting of it. So there's the beginning of our painting. Now what I could do, just thinking. What color do I want to do? There's some veining in this petals too, down the center. It's like 3 lines. Maybe I'll put those in. So there's one dominant one in the center, and then another one like that. They don't really flare out at all. It stays pretty uniform in size or width. The only thing you might change is if it's on a, if it's starting to have a bend to the petal, then your shape would change, how you do your lines. This looks pretty good. So that could also help you with making things look a little more different as far as showing texture. So then you want, I'm just going to just take some of this off, the darkest part. I don't want too much of it to show through as far as the line work here. I like it a little bit hidden. I'll probably lower the light though. So you can see there. So I'm just lightly taking off some of this. Kneaded eraser is great for this. Okay, so you can still see it, I think. Thanks, Sandra. So what should I do? What color do you want the clematis? Do you want it in white? If you do, then I'll have to put a darker background in. What color? Give me a suggestion. It is amazing how some straight lines can give petals shape and definition. Yeah, it is. Just have to pay attention to those tiny little details, and they make a big difference. Okay. Have a good day, Zandra. Any suggestions for color? I can do whatever. Doesn't have to be white. Okay, let's start off with, well, you guys are going to give me any ideas on color. I'll start off with the leaves. And the leaves are beautiful. I would say it's permanent sap green color. What you can do is get a little piece of scrap paper. When you've got a living thing that you're drawing from, see, just play with it. That's so close. Maybe a little bit of there. So a little bit of green Apatite Genuine with permanent sap green, and you get that perfect color. White would look good? Okay. That's what we'll do. So I'm going to mix a little bit in this well here. So I'm just putting this permanent sap green in this well. And this is Green Apatite Genuine by Daniel Smith. And just changes it a little bit more, like a little bit of olive added into it. And that's what I'll be using for the leaves. So we can just go right in with the, these are pretty well all one color. The veining isn't that prevalent. So we can go wet into dry. And it's always good to have a fairly pointed brush. Now these leaves stems are more of a kind of a brownish red. So I'm not going to paint those yet. There it is. So there's pretty well no overlaps in the leaves up here. So there's not going to be any kind of shadow to worry about. Now this guy, now because his legs are black, I'm not going to paint around them. I'm just going to paint right over top of that area. And then I can still see the line. I'll use that when I do the black legs. That. And these are also pretty, they're not a shiny leaf, so you're not going to get very much highlight off of these. Now this one here is overlapping the other one, so you might get a little bit darker. We can always go back in afterwards and darken that one little area. But I'm just going to paint it all the same color right now. And again, I'm not worried about the stem yet because it's not the same color as the leaf. That. And then I think I have to mix a little bit more up. Have to get some more of that color for my palette. This one too has a little bit difference underneath. It's actually lighter. They're kind of fuzzy underneath. This one's turned, so I'm actually seeing the underside of this one. So it's over top of the other one. And again, I'm not painting the stems, leaving those. And we'll come back and do those a different color. Okay, so the stem from here up to the flower is actually the same color as the leaf, which is, see? And then they go brown from that point down. So we'll just do the stem to the flower. That. Kathy, what is the name of the white clematis? Henry Eye, it's called. You like it, Dot? For the stems, I'm going to go into burnt sienna. It's an early flowering one, Dot. It doesn't typically bloom again. Probably would, though, if you cut all the seed pods off. Then usually they will reflower, say in late summer. I'm going to add a little bit of red to that. I want a little more red in there. And then the stems are just this really nice red color, brownish red. And this one goes like that. Okay. And this one here, this is when you need a nice pointy brush. And bring it right to that point where they meet. And then down. They all meet at the same spot. The individual stems from that spot may vary because of how they're clinging to stuff, but it's usually the top one that is a little bit longer. Okay, like that. So while that's drying, don't want to add, well, I guess I could add the lighter color. So I want a little more water on my brush, I guess. And the underside is a little bit lighter. They're kind of furry, actually. Like that. I think that's the only two that had to be like that. So there's the underside. See how they're a little bit lighter. I don't know if you can see that. See, a little lighter. Okay, so the flower, now because it's a white flower, it's not always, you have to get your brain to think this isn't really white. There's a little bit of gray, depending on where it is. This is a kind of a shiny petal. So you can get the grays in there, a little bit of yellow or green sometimes in the ribbing. It does have a certain way the lines come out from the center midrib. I don't know if you can see that. Now, you don't have to get that technical. If it's just a simple painting you're doing, You can make this as complicated or simple as you want. So I think I'm going to mix a little bit of gray, and the way you do that is with a little bit of indigo or Payne's gray or a really dark ultramarine and some burnt umber. You mix them together and you'll get kind of a gray color. So I have some French ultramarine blue here. And I have some leftover ultramarine and umber here, so I'm going to use that. Just add a little bit more to it. Mix it together, see what we get. Sometimes you have to play with it before you get the right color. I want a little bit on the blue side. That's too much. There. Okay. And it's very slight. I guess I can put this here so you can see it. And it's almost got a little bit of a yellowy green cast to it. Actually, I'm going to hold it because I need to see it. So, be a little different. There'll always be a little bit of shadow wherever your petals are overlapping. And then I see more of the shadows along the edges sometimes. So I'm just adding from the center point, going on an angle outwards. There'll be different ways of doing this. I'm not really copying exactly. It's just a reference. And if you have watercolor paper, it's a little easier because then you can move it around. This isn't watercolor paper, so it's a little bit harder to move it. But we can always add gouache too. And you can see those lines. So let's put some of those in. They'd be shadowed. Sometimes just the mark you put in there with the pencil is all you need. When you're doing any kind of art like this and you're not sure, step away from it. You don't have to do it all at once. Sometimes when you come back and take a look at it, it looks better. Or maybe you see something you don't like and you change it. Let's put a little bit more on this up here, I think. A little bit darker. Dark around the edge there. This one, a little bit more. Oop. Got too much brown in there. Okay. And the center here is a mix of kind of a beigey color with a bit of almost a soft yellow in the center there. And then, of course, you got the little stamens and stuff like that. So let's do a little bit of, let's ochre. Very pale application of ochre. And just in the center, just a hint. And I'm bringing it out. A little bit darker in the center in here. Then a little bit more, a little darker, just around the edge here. Should be a little darker than that. Just along the edge, do a bunch of little lines. So the edge is kind of fuzzy looking. We can always go back in and use colored pencil or ink, gouache, whatever you want. Okay. Now, then we have the really dark sections, but let this dry because I want those to be a little bit more detailed. So let's take a look at this. Let's put a little bit of bleed proof white on a palette, or I'll just use it off the top. If I get there. And I'm going to just use a little bit of white, as it does have some bright areas, because it's a shiny petal. And we do see a center highlight in those ribbed sections. Now this is Doc Martens bleed proof white, so your watercolor won't come through. At least that's what they say. We'll see. I'm just doing kind of in the center here because the petal is kind of curved a little. So you're going to get most of the highlight in the raised sections of that petal. Okay. And I'm going to put a little bit just in the center here, just a little here and there. We can always go back on top of this and color it. Like that. And then take one of these. This is a number 3/8 Velvet Touch Filbert Grainer. So it's got the fuzzy, thinner edge, and that'll give you a little bit of a different look. So it'll actually make it look a little bit finer without having to use a super fine brush. And I'm paying attention to the way I want the lines going. These are great brushes. I use these a lot in fur, hair, that type of thing, grass. They just give you it's a whole lot easier. And you can always go back and add more of the other color if you find you put too much on or it's not looking right. You can always go back and fix it. This is great stuff too if you've made a mistake and you want to cover it up. Okay. Put that away before I spill it. So while that's drying, let's do this little guy. So we'll get our picture back. And he's basically, the wings aren't shiny. They're kind of a matte black. It was very unusual. But there is this bright green and then kind of an aqua color in his bottom part here. So I want a fairly thin brush. And I have some, let's do this one, Cobalt Teal. This is by Core. And we'll just put the top part of his body in this. We can mix a little green to it. There is kind of a bit of a green tinge to it, almost blue. So we can put a little bit of, let's do this bright leaf green. Just add a little bit here and there. And he has a bright green spot right here on his body. And I'm going to put a little bit on his eyeballs there. They're kind of shiny. And his wing is black. So you can use that same combination of the ultramarine blue or Payne's gray and mix the umber with it, burnt umber. And it'll give you a pretty darn close black. You know, I have to play with it a little bit, but it'll be dark. Yeah, that's good. Okay, and his wing is pretty well all one color. So I'm just going to fill that in And you don't have to worry about veins or anything like that. It's not showing. They were really cool looking. Almost looked like, I don't know, it was suede-y looking. There's no shine to it. It was really cool. Okay. And then under his body here, it's dark. A little bit of lighter on his head. We can always add a little, not necessarily a highlight, but it was a little bit of a different color. Let's soak some of this up. Kind of a gray color, I guess. But it is darker underneath. I think I lost my spot on his head. And then he does have a little bit on underneath and on top, just a thin line. So I think I'm going to do that with pen, just to make it easier. And his legs are black too. That wing is kind of wonky. Let's make it a little bit. I'm going to make it a little bit longer, I think. Just a smidge. I think it needs it. There. Okay, so now that that's drying, it's kind of a back and forth thing. Let's go back into that green for the leaves. And right here with this one that was kind of overlapping, we can just put a little bit of more of that color in. And it'll just show it as darker because it would be shaded in those areas as it's overlapped. And I'm going to put a little bit in here where the fold is. And maybe a tad under there. And remember, sometimes your paint dries lighter than what it really is. Okay, so to bring this flower out, let's make sure this is dry, and then we'll paint something around it. Now, what I normally do for the backgrounds, because it's usually, if you look at a camera, it's usually blurred, so you can't really distinguish what is in the background. So just use some plain water, go around your petals, and just do the sections at a time. Try not to do too many. And then just use a little bit of the green, and it could be darker, it can be lighter. So a little bit of that green here. And then you can do different shades of green actually, or use whatever it's on your palette. And maybe some white or blue. Not white, what am I saying? Let's do a little bit of cobalt mix in here. Just a very light touch. Mix it into your colors. Give you a different shade. More of the green. I like to blend it out so there's no hard lines. It's up to you though. Some more green in here. We got to do the center of the flower yet. A little bit of that again, a little bit of green. Just don't want any hard edges. I like it kind of light and airy looking. So this is where you experiment, is in your sketchbook or journal, whatever you tend to play in. Bring it down a little bit. I'm just mixing different colors together, basically. Just making a little bit of a wash, I guess. Just to bring out some of those colors, to pop that white out a bit. Yeah, it's a little bit of this in there. Could be another leaf. Don't know. like that. So it brightens it up a little bit. Okay, let's try that. Hey, Kim, it's coming. Let's do a little bit of work on the butterfly or damselfly, the leaves a little bit. Put the center in the flower. It's coming though. All right. I think I'm going to do a little bit of colored pencil in this. So the center of that is kind of a light brown. Yeah, that should do. This is brown ochre. Let's do the center of this flower. So kind of, now you want a really good sharp pencil when you're doing this part. Do I have a container that I can put this in? If you want a really good pencil sharpener, I strongly recommend these. You can get them in different, they also come in this shape if you like this shape. This comes with 2 different size holes. So there's a large one and then there's, where is it? There's a large one and small one. But they're brass. And you just change the blade when you need to. Now, I got mine on Jackson's Art from the UK, and it's actually cheaper for me to do that than to buy one on Amazon. I bought 5 of these for the price of one on Amazon. That's just crazy, but they're great. I'll just use this. I like these better than a pencil sharp, like a big pencil sharpener or one that's electric, because they eat your pencils. These are great. So the ends of these, they're kind of curled. So you can do, and there's a bunch of them. So you can just do a bunch of squiggly lines or just curved lines, some straight. And I usually turn my pencil as I go. That way it stays sharper longer because you're using the side all the way around. So it kind of keeps the point a little bit longer. Okay, like that. And then there's kind of really dark sections too. So almost black. So let's see what we got here. This one is dark umber. And again, you want real sharp. And there are a few lines, but not as many in the top part here. Some of them are crisscrossing. Some of them are down a little further. Don't make it even all the way around. Have more clusters here and there of that color, because they're not all the same. They grow different. They're not like a pattern where you have to have the same spacing. And then as you get into the center, it gets a little more spiky, I guess. But leave that very, very center, that color that's on there, because it's almost peachy color, or not peachy, a light chartreuse, I guess, color. And some of them are a little longer. They're not all the same. Some are curved. Like that. You can always fine tune stuff. And then just little dot here and there, right in the center. Not much. Might have to go in there and just put a little bit of white maybe with a marker. Posca. And then I can always go back in with a green over top of the Posca. So just because there are just in the center here, a few. Little dots. It's not really working, this one. Where did I put the lid? Oh, there it is. Let's see. I bought some more pens to try. Ooh, those are working. A little bit in here, maybe. Are they working? It's very textural in there. Okay. And a little bit more brown, I think, in the center, or not the center, around the edges, but very fine. So like in here, just a few here and there. That. That's better. And let's see. Maybe a little bit more into the center with this color, this ochre, here and there, like that. Looks good. And maybe some brown, or not brown, gray, to do a little bit of shading. Oh, that's not bad. In the flower. See how the edges are a little bit softer, because they're kind of dipping downwards. So you're seeing a little bit more shadow. Just along the bottoms areas here, I think. Might be a little shadowed in there too because of the stamens overlapping it. Very loose. Does make a difference though. I like using colored pencil with my watercolor. It's very satisfying to me. So it can be dipped. I think that's good. You want one? You could probably get them. It's a fairly common one, Dot. It's not too late to plant them. Then I want a green, light green. And I just want to put a little bit, I don't know if this is going to be, no, it's not dark, not light enough. Maybe I'll have to use white or pale yellow. No, I think white. Their veining is kind of all over the place. It's not necessarily a pattern. This is one of those glaze pens from China. No, not China. Japan, I think it is. Japanese imports. You get them on Amazon. This one, I forgot I even had. You don't have to do this. This will soak up some of the watercolor. So don't expect it to be real defined. I'm going to put a little bit on his eyeball there. And let's put a little bit of black or dark under here. Under his body here, there's a little bit of a dark shadow. I'm going to darken that underneath. Around his head, darker. And then his legs. Can't really tell too much on how his legs are. And a little bit of the sections, or you can see just a bit of shadow. It's not a lot though, and there is a little bit of a shadow on his one side, top side too, like that. And then could put a little bit of this white in certain sections, more closer to the top, where it might be a little bit of a highlight. It's not going to stay, but let's put a little bit in here too, like that. And I'm going to just smooth out his wings a little bit. Make him a little bit nicer looking, so they're not ratty looking. I'm going to make a video tonight on my gardening channel, and I'll show the clematis if you want to watch that. I'll put it up. Should be up by tomorrow. It's if you're, I don't know if you know, I have a gardening channel too. Gardening Artfully, it's called. And then I'm going to put a little bit of, let's see if this is, nope, a little bit darker brown underneath the stem as a shadow. This is going to be dark. Yep. Sorry, I'm quiet. I'm doing straight lines. It takes concentration. Now you don't have to use colored pencils. If you want to just do it in paint, or maybe you have pen, ink. You could do ink too. Just try something in your sketchbook, because that's the only way you're going to find out whether you like it or not. It's by doing. And if it doesn't work out, oh well, it was a sketch in your sketchbook, and that's what it's for. Playing and experimenting. I'm going to use a dark green. See, I want the right shade. Just a little bit along the bottom edge of some of these leaves. Just to have them stand out a little bit, and of course down the bottom side of the stem there. That. Just helps things stand out when you do this. I'm not doing all of the leaf, but more or less the underside, or thinking of the light. How's it coming? Okay. Maybe a little bit under here where the vein is, along the edge of the white part. Lightly. It's curved, so maybe it's a little bit shadowed. A bit more there. Oh, thanks, Kim. Now the dragonfly doesn't have any highlights on the wings, because the wings were kind of a flat black. It was awesome, kind of neat looking. But I think that's it. it's done. I've got lots of flowers coming out, so oh, thanks, Joan. My poppies, and I've got tree peonies. Kid you not, I'm not exaggerating. They're probably as big as my book here, like a dinner plate. They're huge. I'll show them in the video too. Just beautiful. All right, so I think that's it. So I can date it. Make sure you date your work so you can come back and have an idea on how you've progressed. So today is 6/6/23. So this weekend's my birthday, and my sister's coming down, my twin. So we'll be having a nice birthday together. I'm not sure if I will be here next Tuesday because I think we'll be going back to her place for a couple days. I haven't been back there in 6 years. So it'll give me a chance to go see my two brothers and visit for a while. But oh, thanks. Thanks, guys. Yeah, it's my 65th birthday. So it's I don't feel 65 in my head. My knees do. My knees actually feel like they're 80, but such is life. Thank goodness for art journaling, eh? When you can't get out in the garden, there's always art journaling. No, thanks. So I'll let you guys go and we'll see you Thursday. I will be here on Thursday. And thanks, everybody. And we'll, not sure what we'll be doing. We'll see. Could be jelly printing since I have a bunch of flowers out. You never know. We'll see what happens. All right, I'll let you guys go and have a fantastic rest of the day and make sure to be creative and enjoy the process. Bye for now.